forum. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari makes U-turn on Seplat's ExxonMobil deal, backs regulators. Federal government borrows 2.45 trillion naira from CBN amid fiscal risks. Plus, 7 Russian warplanes destroyed as large blast rock Crimea air base. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. Recall that on Monday, a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, revealed that President Buhari consented to acquisition of ExxonMobil shares by Seplat Energy Offshore Limited in his capacity as Minister of Petroleum as a way to attract foreign direct investment to the country. However, giving an update on the issue, the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garvin Chevy, says Buhari had reversed the decision and the previous misunderstanding was because the agencies involved in the decision had not coordinated well among themselves. According to him, having looked at all of these facts, with all of the ramifications, the President decided the position of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission is to be supported. In another development, the federal government's total borrowing from the Central Bank of Nigeria through ways and means advances reportedly rose from 17.46 trillion naira in December of 2021 to 19.91 trillion naira in June of 2020. According to data from the CBN, this shows that the federal government borrowed 2.45 trillion naira from the Apex Bank within 6 months. According to the Debt Management Office, the money owed the Apex Bank by the federal government is not part of the country's total public debt stock, which stood at 41.60 trillion naira as of March 2022. The public debt stock only includes the debts of the federal government of Nigeria, the 36 states of government, and the Federal Capital Territory. Meanwhile, the federal government has urged members of the Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, and the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, COBUN, to ensure professionalism in their activities. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, SAN, gave the advice while inaugurating COREN and COBUN council members in Abuja. Fashola noted that the Buhari-led administration is investing significantly in infrastructure. He added that the associations play a vital role in ensuring that the various infrastructural projects across the country succeed.
Has committed to infrastructure as one of the major ways in which to reboot our economy.
Please put up the AC over me,
to create employment and to compete on the continental and global stage. Nothing will help Nigeria more than a display of professionalism by those who lead, who define, who recruit, who regulate, who certify membership of the engineering profession. Our government has committed to infrastructure.
In the meantime, the federal government has deployed a new technology as a stopgap solution to the challenges confronting Nigeria's power grid. Officials of the Transmission Company of Nigeria has said the technology comprising Internet of Things and the Virtual Private Network was deployed by the government through TCN to monitor real-time grid operations and help mitigate power system collapse. It was also gathered that the facility would boost power grid management at the National Control Center of Osogbo in Osun State, as it would improve real-time operations of the national grid pending the deployment of a long-term network automation system. For the time being, power generation on the national grid crossed 4,000 megawatts on Wednesday as the federal government announced that it had commenced the construction of transmission lines and substations to add 204 megawatts to the grid. This came as the federal government announced that it had begun the construction of a 132 kilovolt transmission line and a 2 by 60 megawatt transmission substation, as well as a switching station in Ekiti to raise the power grid's capacity by 204 megawatts, which would further improve supply in the whole state. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, who spoke during the groundbreaking ceremony of the transmission lines and substation in Ado-Ekiti, said the project consisted of a 50-kilometer stretch of 132 kilovolt transmission line from Ikere in Ado-Ekiti with a turn-in turnout at Ijesha-Isu that terminates at Ilipeju Ekiti. The minister, who was represented by the managing director TCN Sule Abdulaziz, said it is a very strategic project and he believes it will have a massive impact on bulk power transmission in Ekiti and its environs. Away from that, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has concluded plans to prosecute 3 persons who allegedly altered the 2022 presidential pardon list. The 3 indicted persons, according to a report of investigation by the EFCC, allegedly altered the report of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy, PACPM, to include the name of a jailed former managing director, MD, of a bank whose case was never considered by the committee. The EFCC report exonerated the acting director of the Administration of Criminal Justice and Reforms Department, ACJRD, Leticia Oluwala Daniels, and another official of the Federal Ministry of Justice. Recall that the former governors of Plateau and Taraba states, Joshua Dariye and Jolly Inyame, were among prisoners whose names were on the pardon list. In politics, Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong has dismissed the protest against his acceptance of the position of the Director General of the All Progressives Congress APC Presidential Campaign Organization. Addressing State House correspondents after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja, Lalong, who denied ever lobbying to run as the vice presidential candidate of the party. The governor said he was in Abuja to thank President Buhari for approving the University of Jos, UNIJAS, as a national cancer center. He added that being an ardent member of the Catholic faith, even the Pope was not angry with his decision to accept the campaign job. Meanwhile, a group under the aegis of Concerned Christians on the Plateau CCP had staged a rally in Abuja where they urged Lalong to reject the APC campaign job. Still in politics, the Tinubu campaign organization has appealed to the Labour Party LP presidential candidate Peter Obi to prevail on his supporters to desist from degrading and spreading lies and making malicious comments against his opponents. The organization said in a statement by his Director of Media and Communications, Onanuga, that falsehood and disinformation do not win elections. TCO said Obi and his supporters should allow the election cycle to be about issues that would advance the growth, progress and stability of the country. Meanwhile, former Enugu State Governor Chimaro Namani also condemned what he called the shameless campaigns and parody targeting Tinubu's health. Back here, Kwabamites have been urged to disabuse their minds of the old notion that their votes during election will not count, or that only popular and renowned candidates always win elections in Nigeria, but to guard their permanent voters' cards, PVCs, consciously and exercise their franchise when the time is due. As votes come, 2023 elections will count for a better Nigeria. Speaking with Planet News, Comrade Jeremiah Jackson, on behalf of Keke owners and riders, observed that the Keke riders will significantly influence the outcome of the 2023 general elections if they collectively unite towards the 2023 electioneering year. Other Keke riders underscored the importance of everyone playing active roles in the selection of the next crop of leaders to steer the affairs of the state and the country. We move now to Africa, where a nationwide curfew has been declared in Sierra Leone following massive protests in parts of Freetown and other areas in the northern part of the country. 2 police officers were allegedly killed on Wednesday when protesters descended into clashes between security forces and youth demanding the president resign because of economic hardship. Protesters were heard chanting "Bio must go," referring to President Julius Bio, who is currently in the United Kingdom on a private visit. Police say dozens of protesters had been arrested and dozens of people were injured. According to reports, the internet was temporarily blocked in Freetown on Wednesday afternoon.
These unscrupulous individuals have embarked on a violent and unauthorized protest which has led to the loss of lives of innocent Sierra Leoneans, including security personnel. It is also reported that public buildings, including police stations, have been attacked and burnt down in various parts of the country. Therefore, the government wishes it to be known that as a country of law and order, these violations are unacceptable in all their forms. Consequently, government hereby declares a nationwide curfew with effect from today. These unscrupulous individuals have embarked on a violent and unauthorized protest.
In the meantime, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has landed in Kigali, Rwanda. His third and final stop in Africa will see him meet with Rwandan President Paul Kagame today. Blinken is expected to visit the Kigali Genocide Memorial before holding a press conference with Foreign Minister Vincent Biruta and meeting with civil society representatives Wednesday morning. The United States top diplomat was in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where he said the U.S.-backed African-led mediation efforts in the DRC-Rwanda crisis, noting that the United States followed the efforts and were engaged in it. Blinken told reporters in Kinshasa that the United States had serious concerns about credible reports of Rwandan backing of the M23 rebels and promised that Washington was not turning a blind eye. He's therefore expected to touch on this key issue during his Rwandan trip. On the foreign scene, new satellite images show that at least 7 Russian warplanes were destroyed after explosions rocked annexed Crimea, in what could reportedly be Moscow's biggest loss of military aircraft in a single day since World War II. According to a fellow at the Griffith Asia Institute and a former Australian Air Force pilot, Peter Layton, who examined satellite photos of the site, the destroyed warplanes appear to be Su-24 bombers and Su-30 multi-role fighter jets. Reports say the Ukrainian Armed Forces has added 9 aircraft to the tally of Russian military hardware they say have destroyed since the Russian invasion of Ukraine began in February. The Ukraine Ministry of Defense said it could not determine the cause of the explosions at the airbase, which lies 225 kilometers behind the Russian front line. However, the Russian Ministry of Defense said the blasts were caused by aviation ammunition, but did not say how it had been detonated. Still on the foreign scene, according to a Wall Street Journal report, the FBI's search of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence on Monday was prompted by a tip to investigators about the possibility of additional classified documents at the Palm Beach Club. Recall that investigators from the FBI and the Department of Justice met with Trump attorneys at the Mar-a-Lago in June, seeking more information about classified material that had been taken to Florida after Trump departed the White House. Following that meeting, the Wall Street Journal reports that someone familiar with the stored papers told investigators there may still be more classified documents at the private club beyond what Trump turned over to the National Archives earlier this year. Monday's search warrant execution pertained to both the handling of classified documents and the Presidential Records Act. For months, investigators have been looking into how Trump handled material taken with him when he left the White House after the National Archives and Records Administration referred the case to the Justice Department earlier this year. Still to come in the news. Qatar World Cup to start in November 20th, 2022. Do stay with us. Stay tuned. In light of Nigeria's dwindling revenue, the World Bank has raised the alarm that the country might be facing an existential threat with the continued payment of trillions of naira under fuel subsidy by the government and the attendant economic challenges. The international financial institution warned that if the country failed to optimize its tax system and focus on other areas to boost its revenue, the already low revenue would continue to drop. It noted that despite the rise in the price of oil in the international market, Nigeria had not reaped the benefits because of the huge amount spent on fuel subsidy. Senior public sector specialist domestic resource mobilization at the World Bank, Raju Awashi, who said these at a virtual pre-summit organized by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, insisted that Nigeria would have to eliminate the subsidy regime eventually. Recall that after the federal government earmarked about 4 trillion naira for subsidy payment in 2022, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said recently that government might spend a whopping 6.72 trillion naira as fuel subsidy in 2023 or pay 3.36 trillion naira up to mid-2023 if the subsidy regime would end in May of 2023. Still in business, importation of used vehicles into Nigeria has reportedly declined since the introduction of the Vehicle Identification Number (VIN) by the Nigeria Customs Service. A member of the National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, Ugochukwu Nandi, disclosed this to newsmen, claiming that the policy had made it difficult for Nigerians to afford second-hand or used vehicles. Clearing agents have supported Nandi's position, explaining that the non-exclusion of accidented vehicles on the VIN platform for the valuation of imported vehicles and hike in foreign exchange had discouraged many importers from bringing in damaged or used vehicles. In health, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ohanire, to look into ways of turning the brain drain bedeviling the country's health sector into brain gain by engaging top Nigerian medical experts in the diaspora in knowledge and skills repatriation. Buhari said that the federal government was addressing the brain drain in the health sector caused by the massive exodus of medical practitioners from Nigeria to other countries, noting that the federal government has so far disbursed 100 billion naira to indigenous pharmaceutical manufacturers and healthcare investors as loans to expand their capital base and boost local production of medicine and consumables. According to a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, Buhari said this when he received the new executive members of the Nigerian Medical Association at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He urged the association and other stakeholders in the health sector to support initiatives by the federal government and work with the committees set up to chart a fast track to a health system that best meets the needs of Nigerians in the 21st century. Still in health, the Lagos State Ministry of Health has announced a partnership with the United Nations Population Fund on cancer control. The ministry said the partnership was to ensure cancer screening services in the state are more accessible and readily available in public health facilities. The ministry disclosed this in a press statement issued and signed by the Director of Public Affairs, Tombosun Oganubawo. As part of the partnership, the ministry stated that it sponsored an 8-day training program for 200 health workers on breast and cervical cancer screening. In sports, the opening match for this year's World Cup between hosts Qatar and Ecuador will reportedly be brought forward by 1 day to November 20th. According to reports, the move will be approved by the FIFA Council before the 100-day countdown starts this week and will retain the tradition of the first match featuring the host country. Under the existing arrangement, Senegal and Netherlands play the first game on November 21st, followed by the official inauguration match between Qatar and Ecuador later that day. Still in sports, Super Falcons star forward Asisat Oshola, who won the African Women's Player of the Year award for the 5th time some weeks ago, has said that the Super Falcons and every other African team that will be at the 2023 World Cup in Australia and New Zealand has the potential to win it. In an interview with journalists, she said the Super Falcons were shocked at the WAFCON and it's a pointer to the unpredictability of football. Oshoala said performance on the pitch decides results and cited their experience as one of what they can look to. Oshoala is Nigeria and Africa's biggest women's football ambassador. On entertainment news, Bollywood star Alia Bhatt has tackled domestic violence in Netflix's latest big-budget Hindi movie, Darlings. It is one of the several drastic ideas the protagonists consider as they confront an abusive relationship and attempt to find a resolution. Speaking with newsmen about the film project, Bhatt noted that she picked the topic because she needed to tell the story while drawing to the evil of the vices in the society. Reports say the 29-year-old has also worked alongside some of India's top female directors in recent years, including Meghna Gulzar and Zoya Akhtar, adding that the actors hope to use her behind-the-scenes role to encourage greater representation in Bollywood. Still in entertainment, Nollywood actor Moses Armstrong has been granted bail. Friends and fans of the actor took to the Facebook page where they celebrated his release with photos of the actor outside the courtroom shared on social media. Recall that Armstrong was arrested by men of the Akwa Ibom State Police Command in June for allegedly defiling a 16-year-old girl. Reacting to the news at the time of his arrest, the president of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, Emeka Rollas, described the case as a very serious one and distanced the guild from the horrendous act. Rollas revealed that the case is being handled by the First Lady of Akwa Ibom State, Martha Emmanuel, through her Family Empowerment and Youth Reorientation Path Initiative.
Camera 3, stand by. Camera 2 now.
And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 12. I am Uyanik, and thanks for watching, and do enjoy the rest of your day.